everybody. You're listening to and possibly watching the Comic Book Bears podcast. I'm Bill Zanowitz,
I'm Steve Morey.
I'm Caleb Alexander McKenzie.
and we are your hairy heavy homos that talk about comic books, but you don't have to be a hairy heavy homo to listen in or possibly stream in. We are back with you after we had a little non-comic break talking about The Mandalorian and Grogu on our last episode with our regular Star Wars Bears panel. And we are all going to be at HeroesCon, which begins this upcoming Friday in Charlotte. So we wanted to get one little teeny tiny episode in before we signed off and, you know, journeyed on down, or in Steve's case, just a short drive up. So you guys already, I packed last night.
Yeah, I know you were. When you messaged, I was like, "Wow, you're already packed." My God.
Yeah, I packed last night.
I am not nearly that ready. I thought I was prepared, but apparently I am not.
So my issue is, what I do is I fly down to Steve in Greensboro,
Yeah.
but usually my layover is in Charlotte, and I don't have to deplane or anything like that. You know, just they drop people off at Charlotte, and that's been their routes for time immemorial. Um, it looks like the main daily route now is the main connector is Dulles in DC, and so I'm a little nervous about stuff. I mean, it's plenty of time. It's like a 90-minute window.
Oh yeah.
So I think I'm fine, but I'm still nervous. I get nervous.
Well, and one of the good things, what I've noticed lately with the Charlotte Greensboro flight, the connector flight, it's literally like 20 minutes total. It's
Yeah.
it's the shortest flight ever.
I when I took it one time, 16 minutes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
16 minutes.
As soon as they hit altitude, the captain comes on and he's like, "We've reached cruising altitude. Flight attendants, prepare for arrival." It's like
exactly, yeah.
that's it. But
I would
the
have. They need to have fun with that. They need to go ahead and just like turn it let it be the joke.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's like, and we're up and we're coming down. Keep those seatbelts buckled.
Woo!
But one of the things that they've been doing with at least American Airlines is that American will land in E terminal, which is the big sort of like more regional terminal for Charlotte. And then almost everything else it connects to is in terminal A or B. And so you're hoofing it literally at least a physical mile
please
trying to get to the next gate, which as long as you have a long layover, you're good. But last time Jason and I were flying to Colorado, we literally had a 15-minute window to get from our plane from Greensboro to the Denver flight, and thankfully the Denver flight ended up being bumped out by like an hour or two, so we didn't have to rush.
You're really putting me at ease here, dude.
But no, for you should be fine going to Dulles. If it was going to Dallas, I would say
Dulles isn't that
right.
big. And Dulles, as far as my recollection, is not that big.
It'll be an easy.
But I also remember when if you flew into Fort Lauderdale, it was like you were like going out to a strip mall. It was like nothing. And now that place is so damn huge.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you wanted a rental car, you just walked, out. You did like a little U-ey, and you were right by the car rentals. Now it's like a 15-minute bus ride.
Well, if you could, they were maybe rentals. They might not have actually been rentals, but the keys were in there, so you can just drive off with them. Greensboro, see, that's why I love Greensboro, being close. In Winston-Salem, we're 20 minutes away. And Greensboro is one of those places where I have never had a long wait in TSA, and you're not walking that far to your gate because it's not that big of an airport. So it's nice, nice and convenient. I always still try to get to the airport like an hour and a half, 2 hours early. But literally, it's like I get there 2 hours early. 10 minutes later, I'm sitting at the gate looking.
Yeah, and then you're just fit. Yeah, you're just.
Yeah, but at the same token, you can't get that time back if you needed it. No.
Well, you can't get the time sitting there back.
I am totally one of those 2-hour people. Yeah.
But I bring a Kindle, bring your phone.
Yeah.
Plenty to distract you.
Yeah.
That's so. I'm so upset, and this is going to affect my travel plans. Not really, but it emotionally. Um, my dog knocked my iPad off the counter and shattered the screen the
Oh,
week before I have to fly to Charlotte, and shortly before I have to fly overseas to go to Scotland. So currently, I have no way to read comics midair. I don't know what to do with my life. I'm having a gay crisis.
Find a paperback. You know. I mean,
there's plenty of Patricia Cornwell at
yeah.
the airport bookstore.
First of all, bitch, don't you dare besmirch Patricia Cornwell. I will go with Miss Scarpetta to the ends of the earth. I love that bitch. So no, yeah. So I'm gonna take plenty of comics, but yeah, I was just like trying to find today and yesterday like a place that could fix the screen in one day in Little Rock, and they just don't exist here.
Yeah.
The guy's like, yeah, no, I can do it like in 5 days, and I was like, ugh, no. So yeah, that's not happening.
But at least you'll have it for Scotland.
That's true. Yeah, so I'm
Once you
gonna
get
do it
another
as soon
one.
as I get back. Yeah, so my plans are super easy. Little Rock has a direct connect flight with Charlotte, so I will be on the ground by 12:30 on Thursday.
Awesome.
So get in a little bit early. I don't even think I can check into the hotel yet, so I'll probably go drop a bag, and then I want to go. You know, if nobody else is in town quite yet, which I think if Brian Newberry lands the same time I do. So I'll probably link up with him and Raj, and then get to the Westin, and then we've got time, so I may go bebop around and try to find like a record store or like maybe just a local comic shop or something like that, or some guitar stores and just go look at stuff I can't buy. But why not? That's the whole point of this trip is to look at things I can't buy. So
Definitely. So like uptown, there's probably not a lot that's close by, but as
yeah,
soon as you get to downtown, which is just south of the core, there's a good bunch of record stuff. I mean, I would recommend Lunchbox for records. It's really great,
okay.
um, and that's not too far. If you can get an Uber, it'll take you 5 minutes if that. Um,
What was the record store that you took the picture of me with the Sergeant Pepper
that
box
was
at?
Lunchbox.
That was
That was
Lunchbox.
Lunchbox.
I wholeheartedly recommend Lunchbox.
I may go
It's
check them
great.
out because I mean it should be just a quick Uber ride or
It is quick Uber ride, and it's also really close to the White Rabbit, which is a long time, LGBTQ sex and culture store. So there's a lot of stuff that's there. They had a long time ago when I lived there. They had a pretty good selection of queer comics, which was fun.
oh cool.
But yeah, it's been a while. They may have moved. Ooh. If they haven't, there's a really beautiful mural on the side of their building. So
Definitely go check it out.
yeah.
But Bill's already packed, and I don't even know what T-shirts I'm going to bring in. That's the important. How do we make that decision?
Well, just so you guys know, I got you T-shirts. I do. I try to do that every year, but this year, this year, yes, I love that shirt. This year, I was very self-promotional, and actually, it's for all of us, I guess, because we've all been on the show. But I got you guys Bear Cave of Terror shirts. So
I'm declaring Caleb a co-executive producer.
co-executive producer. I think
Okay.
change approved. It's good.
Caleb, you may have missed this, but
I
like,
did. How did I get promoted? What does that mean?
okay,
for
so
us?
I've been talking about with Steve and him putting out so much content with Bear Cave of Terror, and it's Comic Book Bears presents Bear Cave of
Uh-huh.
Terror, that I am the executive producer. That I don't do a damn thing, but my name's towards the top of the call sheet. So I'm declaring that Caleb also has close to the same status with that.
That
It,
would.
it works. Works for me. I'm good.
If
I'm
it
just doing the grunt work.
if
That's
it
all.
takes off, it's like we just reap benefits and don't do a damn
It
thing.
was our genius. Bill and I got together, and we saw
We said, Steve, go
Simon.
do it.
We something that was Steve Morey, but we saw it beneath the rubble, and we polished it and polished it, and he blossomed into the universe. And
Well, I do have to say I have been kind of distracted the past couple of weeks, so I haven't been putting Blue Sky as I have been. So I'm hoping after HeroesCon, I can get back to doing that as regular as I used to.
I need to get So I always forget about Blue Sky, and like I have a bad habit of that because I've actually like veered away from the social medias. I'm still on them, but I quit letting them dictate when I look at my phone. But like even today, I commented that going, I'm ready for HeroesCon. So if anybody has any cool, indie comics or doing any projects that involve either queer shit or music related things, just two things I'm super into right now, hit me up. And I had a few people like it, but nobody just flat out said I'll be at like A7. But I need to do a better job about checking the blue sky of it all.
Yeah. It's easy to forget, but it is fun being on there because it just feels so much more pleasant than
Yeah.
Twitter always did.
I
So,
always hated Twitter. I always hated it from day one.
I resisted for a long time, but then I just was like, oh, everybody else has it, and I need to see what I'm
I
missing out
hated
on.
it from day one. I was
My
like, what are you people? Why are you commenting on this? You have
Well,
nothing
like
to do.
literally, I posted something that shouldn't be controversial on the first day, and I had like some rando just like call me a piece of shit, and I'm just like, what? Why?
Yeah,
Like,
I just always found it to be a
yeah.
cesspool.
But the one thing I will say is that at least on Twitter, it was easy to get some type of interaction, and
Mm.
that's the one thing I've struggled with
I
over
agree with that.
at Blue Sky. It's like I don't know, like I am posting things that I think are interesting, and I think other people would also be interested in, but then nothing. Right? There's
I
no
get
kind of
a I get a lot of interaction on IG, but half of it
yeah.
is like, "Hey, daddy," um, and I'm like posting about like Elvis Presley or something.
It's
Hey,
like,
Daddy.
stay on topic, guys. Come on, stay on
And then
topic.
there's just a blend of the two. It's just people who sound like me going, "Hey, Daddy."
Let me tell you, I read somebody the riot act one time. Oh my god, I was. I think they canceled their account just because
Oh
I
god,
yelled at them so hard. I really do.
that's what happened to my last account. No, just
I am ready to see you guys. I very much am.
same.
I'm not. I gotta shake this cold off. I gotta shake this freaking cold off.
You shake it off.
Yeah. Stop it. Stop.
Well, and it's funny because you buzzed your for your hairs the other day. Caleb's got an awesome haircut with the sides and the curl on top, and this thing is getting long. So I did just make an appointment with my professional stylist. So I'll be hopefully nicely coiffed by the time that I see you guys. So
I,
Yeah, I went into New York City on Friday, and when I got home, the hair, it was like if you ever see the first Billy Idol EP, the cover of that's what I look like. It was just
yeah,
I can't function like that. So,
Aquanet.
but luckily, at my advanced age, I still have a full head of hair, and whatever I cut now in 3 weeks, I'll be able to part it. So,
yeah.
Well, you also have the added privilege and benefit and just genetic bonus of you look good with several styles of hair. Right,
thank
and
you.
not that is not
Mhm.
true of every. Like I,
That's
I
true.
don't
Yeah.
look good with several styles of hair. Like I struggle. Like, but you. I don't know. You look good with different you know genres of
Thank
style.
you.
So
And yet
There's
both
a
of you look amazing with hats on too, which is just like so frustrating for me because I have weird hat head.
Oh, that's funny because I think I look like I went to school on the short bus with most hats. That's so funny. I think I look good, like okay in um like caps,
Hmm.
but
yeah,
baseball hats it's hit or miss. I mean, like if you see me in a shot with a baseball cap, it's one of the safe ones. Because
yeah.
trust, I have this Nirvana hat. Oh my God, I look like the biggest dope in the world. I go, where are we going to the party? I mean, I really look dopey in it.
See, I can't do the flat bill style. Like the old school,
Yeah.
like the curled like Bubba hat and stuff. Yeah, I look good in those.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I've got a nasty pig hat it's like a fitted hat that I love. It's like the perfect shape. But
Looks
the
ideal.
whole flat bill thing that's popular now, as old man shakes fist at cloud. I don't look good in them. Like
Yeah.
they don't work for me.
And I
Flat
do
bills
get
are
severe
hard.
bedhead. I do get severe bedhead.
Hmm.
So that does translate a little bit to hat head.
Yeah.
Ah,
Um,
yeah. You know who looks good with those flat build, trucker hats? Is friend of the show John Runyon. Like he's got several, and he just
Yeah.
rocks those. I'm like, how does this work with you? And like, how does this work with
See,
anybody? And
that's
like,
so
I
funny,
can't put on
Steve,
a hat.
because I know you got such a fetish for like guys with the backward caps and everything, and
Frontward, backward, it's all good.
but I've never seen you in a baseball cap.
No, because I look like an idiot.
Well, then
I
I'll
just,
bring my Nirvana hat, and we'll just be like, "Oh, we're going to party. We're gonna have a good
I mean, like,
time."
so I think this is the one that I had at hand. I mean, this
This
is it.
looks
I look.
that looks
That's
fine.
not a bad
That's
look.
fine.
Nope, nope,
No, no,
nope.
but
Yeah, okay,
don't
yeah, you do the backwards, turn it back
not the
around.
backwards,
I
but
can't.
That
yeah,
looks
it's
fine.
fine.
Mm-mm.
Tuck it down a little more in the front. Tuck it down a little more in the front. Oh, you look fine. You just need to get the hair styled a little bit. That's
Nope.
all.
Does not. Yeah, it does not
All
look
right.
good. So, but anyway, now we
I
talked
also
about
love how
hair. We
Caleb and
talked
I
about hats.
like in unison. Oh no, turn it around.
And
So we've been
that,
talking. We've been talking about shirts, hats, and hair at this point.
the previous portion of the show called Compliments and Breakdowns brought to you by.
But
We're gonna call
Caleb,
it a sandwich.
We're both
something
judging and affirming. It's beautiful.
Caleb, something I am a little jealous of both you and Steve is I don't curl till it's long. You
Yeah.
know, I like this just does not curl. And in the 80s when crimping was a thing, I was like in heaven with that. It's like, oh my God, I'm gonna be able to have curly whirly hair. And it would take forever to do that.
Yeah.
Like the crimping irons.
Oh.
Oh
Was
my God, it
was
would take.
was there a hairstyle in the '80s that didn't take a fucking warm up act to get into?
No, um, no, because like everything was like the biggest production was when I had a tail and
Yeah.
I
Oh.
dyed the tail a different color than the rest of the hair. And there was like one point where like this is just not worth it. It doesn't look that cool, you know.
God, see, we had the Tegan and Sarah lesbian rat tail era when I was in
Yeah.
college, with like the dark hair, but it would be bleach blonde.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that kind of haircut, to be honest, I think it only looked good on them. And even then, you're kind of like, it could go either way. Like the wind would come by and it's like, ooh, Tegan. I mean, Sarah. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
You've got to have that real slender, kind of small framed face, and just like that soft butch mentality
Yeah.
to pull it off. Which respect, because it looks great on the people it looks great on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But, yeah. Yeah, some of us, not so much.
But whatever happens here, you know, think of the people we're going to be visiting.
Yeah.
That we're going to be seeing, and if one of them pisses one of us off, we can all go, ow, ow, ow.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's something about comic book fans. It's like I really think bald is the default.
Oh, really?
Balding is the default. Don't you think that though with a lot of people that you see in fandom though?
I don't know. I think also, like,
At least
Well,
my age.
was
Let's put it that way.
so I was gonna say I think some of that too though, which I mean I do understand where you're getting at, but I mean very realistically I think that might be indicative of like the types of things that we're fans of. That fandom is largely middle aged or older white dudes, right? Like, and I think that I mean that's a big part of it. And look, there's if you put 50-50-year-olds, there's a good chance than not that you're going to end up with 40 of them being, just kind of a buff zone up on top, which is fine. Again, there's nothing wrong with bald. I'm
again,
down.
it looks
No,
great
no,
on a lot of guys. It looks
But not-
amazing.
but-
So,
But it's a real thing, right? So,
I mean, once I even contemplated like shaving this just to see what it would look like, because I do think like a goatee, a bald dude with a goatee is usually
yeah.
pretty hot,
yeah.
And I just wanted to see like what I would look like, but then I was like, just do fucking AI. So
Draw
you've
me
been
like one
lucky,
of your
son, that
bald
everything
French
comes
girls.
back.
AI.
You've been very lucky. What if that's the one time it doesn't?
So who is your comic book hair hero? Like, what comic book character do you think has the best hair?
Oh,
I got an answer for you.
I have an answer who doesn't have hair.
Okay.
and that's Kevin Matchstick. Um, surprise, um, but with hair. Ooh, I'd
So
have
I
to think about that. If you guys have an answer,
yeah,
go.
so I
I'll
like
come up with some.
I think and number one, George Perez could just draw hair, but like Simon Williams in the
Mm,
that event, like Simon Williams hair, he had good hair.
Yeah.
Booster Gold has good hair,
Mm-hmm.
a
yes.
lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
Booster Gold, real good hair.
See, I am partial to Colossus's hair because he's got that sort of like
Yeah,
squared whatever, but the fact that it maintains its shape and color when he's in metal form, and then also when he goes back to human form or to standard form, it's like it's still crisp, and
that's good. That's a
every
good one.
single artist has gotten that right. So yeah,
I think I'm gonna give it up for Matt Murdock, um,
Yeah,
he
because
cleans up good.
he cleans up good, but even when he's scruffy, it's
Hmm.
dignified.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking of that scene where in Born Again where he's in the hospital bed and listens to Maggie's heartbeat and
yeah.
finds something out. And he's had better days, and yet he's still like up here. It's like totally working. Um,
I mean,
and
Charlie
like you said,
Cox.
Steve, like
Period.
when he does clean up, it's like,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it to Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I could also say like the actor that plays him, Charlie Cox, has always had amazing hair in every role that he's had. I mean, if you think back to Stardust, I mean, he looked amazing for was it George in England? He's far outshined Henry Cavill in that movie in terms of hair. So
So I have to apologize if you are watching the video component. I am trying to kill this cold before I visit these gentlemen and the rest of the denizens of Heroes Con. Um, so I might have you guys kind of take the reins right now,
Okay.
because I want to preserve the voice and actually get through the book that I want to talk about and stuff. Um, but Steve, I know that you took a look at the guest list and other components of Heroes. Do you want to just chime in on some of that before we get moving further with the episode?
absolutely. I mean, this is kind of what we do every year is that we pregame. I mean, that's kind of like the title of this episode. We are pre-gaming HeroesCon. We like to look at who's coming, where they'll be, and then also what kind of panels that we can look forward to. And there's a great guest list this year. I mean, there's always a great guest list, but there's some people here who haven't been to the show ever, so this might be their first time as part of Artist Alley, or they haven't been for a while. So I mean, we've got some pretty big names right off of the bat. I mean, obviously you've got Scott Snyder, that's going to be who's going to be there the entire weekend, I believe. You've got oh gosh, I mean, let's see who else we've got. You know, the usual. We've got the Simonsons. The
Yeah.
Simonsons, I don't think have missed a show, at least not since I've been going. Walt and Wheezy have just been, mainstays at the Heroes Con, Artist Alley. They're amazing guests. But we've got some other names here. Brian Stelfreeze is going to be here. We've got Chris Claremont is going to be here. The Peonies, if you are fans of ElfQuest, that long-running series that finally just completed,
Or
I
Red,
think,
or Red Sonja fandom.
or Red Sonja, exactly. They tend to show pretty much every year, which is
Yeah.
really great. Alex
And their
Maleo.
son is hot.
Oh yeah, yeah. Bill found that out. He was like, "Hey,
Oh,
hey now, hello." But we've got Jeff Loeb making his first appearance at HeroesCon this year, and he's going to be here for the whole weekend as well.
can
You've
I
got
say something about Jeff Loeb?
oh sure,
Okay, I love his work.
Yeah.
I love his particular style where he's, framing things from the standpoint of one or two characters through the
hmm
narrative. I think Superman, Batman was probably the peak of that. I really like his style. There's a lot about him though that turns me off.
mm,
Like just in interviews, it just seems that there's like a very rich kid entitled, um, proprietary aspect the way he talks about, and he also slams a lot of characters that I think are marquee characters. You know, you know, first and foremost among them, Nightwing. Um, and I don't think I'd like him. You know, so it's very interesting where I really like his work, but I can separate it because I don't think he's done himself favors in interviews.
Hmm. I mean,
That
that's
that yeah.
granted. I mean, that's the
Which I
thing.
think is a shame because like I really like his writing, and
Yeah.
it wasn't until like Ultimatum or something where it's like, all right, not everything's a gem. Um,
Um.
but
So yeah. I mean,
yeah, so
there's.
he
Well.
and he's like a rare exception like that. Like in music, I can rattle like 10, 15 names like that off the bat. You know, I'll
Hmm.
listen to them any day, but God forbid I'm stuck in an elevator with them.
Yeah.
Um, but
Well,
he might
that's
be my only one that's kind of like that.
that's an interesting kind of conversation anyway, in the terms of separating art from artist and things like that, which we usually, that's usually around a whole different type of conversation. But it's kind of like, so Howard Chaykin is a good example, because Howard Chaykin, he'll talk shit about superhero comics left and right. He calls them infantilized and stuff like that. I disagree with Howard Chaykin's takes on a lot of comics, and I think that he's flat
Mhm.
out wrong about a lot of stuff. But I still really love his work. And I'm not saying he's a bad person by any means, but he's definitely not somebody that I would want to like hang out with and befriend, even having conversations with him, just because of that like kind of snarky attitude. Like that would, he is who he is. But so that's an interesting question, because it sounds like you kind of feel the same way about Jeff Loeb,
Yeah.
and
Whereas I do think with Chaykin that he has such a love affair with certain things that like I never would and Steve can vouch this. We've never missed a panel of his
yeah,
No.
unless it was like something competing. Um, and I think because of that, because his interests are so genuine and are so quirky sometimes
yeah,
that like I said, I never want to be on the other end of a tongue lashing from
no,
him. Ever,
No.
ever. I would never want to be on the other end of
I
that.
would never want to be one of his stories. That's
Right.
the
Yeah.
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 Because to be
The way
immortalized that way, no, thank you.
yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, you've also got some standbys that are there all the time. Fred Van Lente,
yeah,
Chris Schweitzer is there. He's a hoot. Definitely check out his table. I always check out his table every year. And Kyle Starks are just they're just fun to talk to, and they always have something fun to share. Same thing with Matt and Charlene Kint are usually there, and getting to talk with them. They always have time to talk with people and just have a good time. They're really wonderful. There was one time where I can't remember who the artist was, but I was picking up a book from him and his Square wasn't working and I didn't have cash on him. Matt Kint went and paid him in cash, and then I just paid Matt Kint. He was just sort of like, dude, you're good. You're fine. But yeah, I mean, there's some people who are coming for the first time. So, like I said, Jeff Loeb, and I believe Jerome Pena. I think it's his first time as well that he's coming. Pornsek Pichachote is going to be there for the first time, just for Friday and Saturday. I uh, I really want to
you
meet him.
should,
I really want to talk
you
with him
should,
and say hey, because his stuff is amazing.
yeah.
Also, I want him to berate me for mispronouncing his name multiple times, because then I will pronounce it correctly from then on, no matter what.
And so I think it's actually Pichichote. So
Peachy
I've
Show.
listened to it on a few interviews. So it's Pichichote. Yeah,
Peachy
but
Show. Awesome.
it sounds like a genuinely lovely person too, and from what I've heard of him, which is crazy, because like even you go back to like Infidel, which is where I first remember him showing up. It's like, how are you this much of a sweetheart writing
Hmm.
writing what you just wrote?
Yep. Exactly. And we've also got Stephanie Rowe is coming, or Rue. Let's see. There's somebody else that I had to point out, because they're just so much fun to see every year. Well, of course, we've got John Romita Jr. coming again. This is not his first time; he's been there several times. But so
Is
if you
the
want to,
king of HeroesCon going to be there, Scotty Young?
Scotty Young, I believe,
Oh, I actually don't know
is
about
going to
that.
be there.
Is
Yes.
okay? Yeah.
Yeah, every year I think the stuff that he puts up for the auction, and also I think usually winning the longest line for people trying to get stuff signed by him.
Yeah.
That's usually him. I think there's been a couple times in the past where, a few other people have kind of bypassed that. Uh, having their fans with uh, trucks, hand trucks full of books to sign, has surpassed Scotty Young. But most of the time, like if you see a giant line of people, that's for Scotty.
Yeah.
But there's such a great list of people that are new, some people that have been there for a long time, and it's always a hoot to see them. So
I'm
Corey
excited.
Andrews is coming for the first time as well. So
Yeah. So Jim Rugg's going to be there. I'm
Mhm.
always excited to talk to Jim Rugg for a little bit and just see what's new at his table.
Yeah.
Ed Pisker, or not Ed Pisker, sorry, Tom Skelly, Freudian. Tom Skelly is going to be there as well, and that's why. But so I'd like to talk to them. There's a few other people. I mean, Artist Alley and Indie Island looks really strong this year, so I'm
Absolutely.
really looking forward to getting in there. There's an artist named Jamie Jones that I think is wonderful. I love his work.
Mm.
A few years ago, he drew this or painted this Popeye piece for the auction that was just incredible. Um, I've actually got he did work on my Hulk jam piece, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, and there's just a whole lot of folks in there that are just scattered throughout. Like you
Joel
said,
Jones,
yeah, Joel Jones is going to be there. That's
like
going to be
oh yeah, Carl Kessel. Like there's just a really good mix
Noah
of
Van Sciver.
yeah, no. Oh,
Yeah,
Noah's I love chatting with Noah. He is definitely nothing like his brother,
no, yeah,
but his work is fascinating. It's very autobiographical. He just has a great way with presenting ideas, in a very, I think, sometimes self-deprecating way when he writes about himself,
sure.
but there's something just so real about a lot of what he puts on the page, that you can just tell that he's put so much thought into this,
Yeah.
and it really comes out with some great work.
Well,
Jay Lee is going to be there, amazing artist. So
An indie guy that I happen to be really good friends with, Tony Aupi. He's going to be there and he's tabling. So if you're swinging by um, Indie Island to check out Tony's table, great dude. Tell him Caleb sent you if you're listening. So I'll be stopping by and saying hi.
that's awesome. Yeah. And a HeroesCon favorite, who's been going for a long time, is Michelle Fief.
Hmm.
He, of course, the creator and writer and artist for Copra, which just ended last year. He's been there pretty much every year since I've been going. So he's definitely a fixture at this point.
Yeah.
Even Tula Lote, again, another fixture. That's another person who has a very long line at her table usually.
Yeah.
So I mean, just amazing artist. Her, like, some of her work is just incredible. I bought a few art books from her. She's just a lot of fun. Tony Fleeks is going to be there,
Hmm.
so
Have
check
you?
out.
Do you know Tony?
I don't know him personally,
I
but
will see if I can introduce you. So Tony and I are okay friends.
that's
So
that's awesome. I know that, again, friend of the show, bringing him up again, John Runyon, has had several great conversations with
yeah.
him, especially when it came to strays. I think there was a Bill and I were at Baltimore one year, with John, and John spent, I think, the entire time collecting
Every, every,
every possible variant.
like
The
seriously,
there were
every.
vendors there from all over the U.S., and he sought them out to get their own store specific variant. Just
That's funny.
amazing,
Yeah.
amazing stuff. So Jenny Frizon's going to be. I mean, there's such a great list of attendees. Jose Luis Garcia Lopez is going to be there. Like, I'm just the name just popped up on the thing. I'm like, oh yeah, he's going to be there. Um,
My buddy Kelly Williams is going to be tabling,
yep.
so make sure that people go see Kelly.
Mm.
I don't know. I've got a couple actually that got at least one piece that I'm hoping I can pick up. I don't know if he'll have it done yet or not, but I backed one of their Kickstarters too, and so he said I've actually got another piece. I just hadn't mailed you yet. He's like, yeah, I figured you'd text me eventually. So,
Well, and Caleb, I know you're a huge fan as well. Daniel Warren Johnson's going to be there.
Yes. Yeah.
Nick, I believe Nick Dragata is coming back again this year. Um,
Yeah,
yes, he
he's one
is.
of those. His table will be,
Oh, it'll be small.
yeah.
Last year it wasn't as crazy, but this year, absolutely. There's no way that that man is going to be allowed to leave that table for more than 5 seconds.
No.
So yeah.
You know what's like? It's weird. So, like for the longest time, Artist Alley was where I just lived when I went to
Mhm.
cons. I loved Artist Alley, and I loved going and flipping through as many books as possible, because at that point in time, the prices of the art, and this is even when I was like in school and stuff, the prices of the art was still relatively affordable. Like I could go to a con and pick up 2 or 3 pages and maybe 1 or 2 commissions for $500. Depending on where you go and what you get. Now it's just like $300 or $400 for the stuff that doesn't feature a main character,
Yeah.
and which great for the artist. No shade against them. Get your bag, but it's like I just don't enjoy going and flipping through the art that that I can't afford. Actually, what I think, like what I did the last time I was at a bigger con, I actually went to like Albert Moy's thing, and I was one of those really annoying people who it comes to look through the things with no intention of buying. But I just flipped through and looked for names just because I wanted to see the art, and he was like, hey, I've got another one of these that I get you for a good price. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm not spending $1,200 here. Like, it's just not happening. I just wanted to see the pretty pictures. So
Yeah.
sorry, if I'm taking up space, I'll leave, but because I don't want to prevent somebody else. But it's just like I'm kind of priced out of the at least the published art game
Mhm.
for like bigger characters,
Right.
which is okay because what
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed is that going to the indie sections and looking at that stuff and picking up some funky weird stuff from them.
Cool
Uh,
zines. You can always
yeah,
find some
I
cool
am.
zines there.
See,
There's a lot.
zines are on my list of things to kind of look for.
Yeah.
That because I really want to come home with just some small like DIY stuff. So I'm hoping to find some cool stuff.
I'm right there with you. That's what I always come. I always find something really neat in Indie Island. I love spending time there and just seeing what people have, and I'm never unimpressed. Um, the one thing that I am sad about, there have been some cancellations. I just found out about one today,
Yeah.
and that's Janet Lee. So my husband's favorite artist at the con that he loves to go and talk with every year. She unfortunately is not going to be coming this year. But there are also some other names that I was kind of sad to see are not there as well. So Ryan Brown and Charles Soule are not going to be there this year. They did cancel, and then Jeff Lemire. I was hoping to finally get to see him in Charlotte, but unfortunately he's not going to be there as well. And also a favorite of our show, Kayla E. Unfortunately had to cancel this time, so she will not be there this
Yeah. And you bring up Janet Lee, and that also makes me think of one thing, in which is a regret. But what can you do where somebody has a work and the format is so cumbersome to
Yeah.
travel around with? Because I always think of Dapperman. I've gotten a lot of stuff signed
big
by
book.
Janet
Yeah.
and a lot of stuff, but it's big. I'm thinking of one of the guests here, Andrew Robinson. I would
Hmm.
love to get my fifth Beatle signed. I would absolutely love to get
Oh
that
yeah.
signed, but I'm not lugging that thing.
Yeah.
So and it's frustrating. I'm also thinking of some past guests that I really should have gotten things signed. I think of Craig Hamilton. It
Hmm.
looks like his health just isn't up there anymore, and,
Yeah.
especially in supporting like a pioneer LGBT creator. Um, Steve Englehart, you know,
Hmm.
when I was just there just wasn't a time where
Yeah.
the lines made sense. And in turn, so I'm glad there's certain creators I met before they passed. Whether it be Carmine Infantino or Len Wein, um, Herb Trimpe,
Yeah.
um, but just you know, people are moving on, and
Hmm.
sometimes you have to recognize that you have to ascribe some importance to that when it is a creator that is entering a different phase of life.
Right.
And just one, Steve, I was just looking at big names, and I think in terms of writers, a big name that you did not mention that I think needs to be mentioned, certainly due to sales right now, is Stephanie Phillips.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
different. Oh, 100%. And Hayden is going to be there as well.
Hayden Sherman.
Yeah. So if you are a big fan of Absolute Wonder Woman, here's your show.
And if you're not a big fan of Absolute Wonder Woman,
What is
don't. Yeah, just don't tell us that because I'll disrespect you.
Well, or if you're not a big fan of Wonder Woman, like we'll hear you out,
I
but
won't.
then we will also take you into a locked room, sensory deprivation chamber where all you have is Absolute Wonder Woman until you become around.
Just
We will Clockwork Orange you.
I was going to say we're just going to Clockwork Orange on to Hayden Sherman.
Dario Argento's opera, but with Absolute Wonder Woman. Like that is what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean there are some great names there, and again, of course, some of them are going to be super busy, and some of them may not be. But sometimes you can luck out.
Some of them may be busy at certain times and not busy.
Exactly, you can always luck out. Just keep your eye on that if you go to the show. And if you are kind of shy, one of the best things that you can do if you still want to hear from your favorite creator is go to the panels. And there are a lot of panels again this year. Heroes does have a really good program when it comes to what kind of panels, what kind of seminars they have there for people to come and attend. One of the things that they do a lot of cosplay workshops. So if you want, you can go and you can get some materials, and they teach you how to do certain things for creating accessories or how best to do cosplay. I am not a cosplay person, but I have been frequently very impressed by some of the work that I see for cosplayers that are there at the show. So that's always interesting. But there are plenty of panels this year. Obviously, we were talking about Howard Chaykin. I don't believe he's going to be there this year, unfortunately. But one of the things he tends to do is have story time on his panels, and we get musical interludes while we're there. So I will be missing that this year. But
And nothing is off limits in terms of questions.
No,
we will answer
Chaykin
whatever. And some of the interesting things that come out of him when he is answering those is also very fun. But I mean, there's a couple good panels this year. There's Creatives, Comics, and the Impact of AI, featuring Mark Chiarello, Cully Hamner, Stephen Green, and talking about how that's impacting a lot of artists and a lot of writers nowadays in comics, especially. That is something that's frequently bandied about, is very controversial. Some big name studios have famously been told off in using certain things when it's recognized, but also there are some creators that for some reason are really drawn to it, and they get a lot of negative feedback for using that to help their art. So that would be interesting to hear from them. Carl Potts is doing sort of a seminar in his visual storytelling. If you like old, he was known for a lot of those Disney comics. I'm not a big Disney comic fan, but Bill, I think you've seen a lot of their stuff.
No.
Oh, really?
Me?
You haven't?
Disney? No.
Oh, I mean, like going through a lot of the Golden Age and Silver Age stuff that's been out. I know you flipped through most of those bins.
Not Disney, though.
Oh, wow.
No.
Did he ever do any work on the Ducks?
I don't know.
Louie and
See, I always think of with Potts. The main thing I always think of with him is Alien Legion.
oh, really? Interesting.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. There's the Tomorrow's publisher usually has a couple. They have a couple panels that are really fun to catch up.
And
with
if you ever want to feel young, go to a Tomorrow's panel.
Yeah.
Even me. Sorry.
Well, I'm sure they're proud of their long held audiences.
And honestly, they do serve a very important purpose.
Absolutely.
They do serve a very important purpose, and I have stacks of Tomorrow's books. I just feel bad for people who are just their heads stuck there in that time period. That's all.
Absolutely. Another thing that you sometimes see, or actually, well, see every year is they'll do targeted panels that are specific to a particular comic character or even an era of comics from the big two publishers. So this year we've got a Daredevil panel where a lot of the creators who are there, like Anna Senti, Stephanie Phillips, Lee Weeks, they're going to be there talking about their time with the Man Without Fear. But you've also got just some other, just chatting with certain creators. Like there are certain ones where it's just one on one or two on one with the creator.
Yeah.
And those
And
are always
sometimes creators will surprise you. I mean, think
yeah.
Steve and I can say, I never ranked Al Milgrom that highly, and I
So
thought
funny
he was
to hear.
wonderful on panel, and it really made me reappreciate some of his work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the stories that he has and the ease with which he just kind of like goes in and out, referencing all of his history, and the history of the creators that he works with. It's great. And it's fun seeing them being able to chat with each other.
Yeah.
So,
And
um,
with panels like you mentioned the Daredevil one,
mhm.
when you do have creators that tackle the same character at different points in time, I always find that fascinating.
Oh yeah,
That there are some commonalities and some wide differences
yeah.
in terms of how they approach the character. So I like those panels usually.
One of the big ones that I'm hoping to go see, so I might have to camp out on Sunday morning is a Absolute Universe panel. I think that one's going to be huge and very well attended. So camp out early if you can. But it's
Oh,
got.
just tangentially related,
Mhm.
but you guys know I'm a big toy collector,
Hmm.
and there was a list that leaked today um, from McFarlane Toys, and it looks like we are going to be getting Absolute Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Deathstroke figures as the first wave of an Absolute line.
Interesting.
That's
And
going to be
I
interesting.
imagine those are going to be big sellers
Oh yeah.
because
Have we?
there hasn't been any statues yet.
Mm-mm.
There hasn't been there's T-shirts and merch like that, but we really haven't had a lot of Absolute merch. So
Have we
Yeah.
seen Deathstroke?
Deathstroke, yes, Absolute Deathstroke.
Yeah, have we seen him in the comics yet?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's kind of that's what I was grabbing my phone.
No. I'm
Yeah,
wondering. I'm wondering if that means that he's going to be popping up in someone's book.
yeah.
Uh,
Or
di-
it also could be because sometimes there are exclusive comics to McFarlane releases. Maybe that will be his introduction in that
could
wave.
be.
So there's so there's a write up on him on the Googles. Um, Apparently he's a cybernetically enhanced assassin and enforcer for the Joker in the Absolute Universe.
Okay, so if he hit, he may have just hit with Absolute
Yeah.
Joker. Yeah.
Do they have the? Do we have his first
Oh, wait a
appearance?
second. I think maybe he was in that Absolute Evil one shot.
Oh, maybe. Do they?
Yeah. All right, let's not worry about it. Let's keep the show
Anyway,
going.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
yeah. Because now I'm going to be thinking about
Meanwhile,
Absolute Batman #9. Absolute Batman #9 was his first appearance.
So I haven't really. Yeah, I need to go through and look at the panel lists too, and just
Mm.
see what else is going on there. That's I haven't really dialed into that.
yeah. And also, I mean, we certainly have friends that never touch any panels.
Sure.
Yeah,
They, they'll live in artist alley or they'll live for back issues or whatever.
which means they
Um,
usually have really comfy shoes because I know Bill and myself. I like sitting sometimes and sitting
I
in
have
green
to
tea.
sit. I have to. Um, so,
Um,
but so like if you're listening to this and like panels is not my thing, that's cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's cool.
it's fun.
There's so many different aspects to cons these
Yeah.
days.
The vendors and Bill, you just mentioned it. Like sometimes, Artist Alley, that's a lot of fun talking with creators. But sometimes you just want to get some swag.
Yeah.
You want to find
I
your
mean,
your
Steve knows
treasure.
this. Every con, I make a beeline to Victory Comics.
Oh yeah,
Every con, that's my first thing. I say, see ya or come with me,
Yeah.
and that's where I am right when it opens.
and usually I have to walk past that one booth where all the comics smell like some grandma's basement. Um,
You mean the one booth?
The multiple, but there is that one specific booth that we always have to pass by getting to Victory Comics, and yeah, that
Yeah.
it's
All right, so
it's huge.
I guess that brings me to the next question and kind of some stuff that we had talked about for the show, but it is the shopping aspect of things.
Hmm.
Do you guys have lists of? So I have a hunt list that I'm gonna go down and
Does
mine's on my phone.
Bill have a
Yeah.
list?
The
Um,
Amos Bill Zanowitz list.
so mine is limited. I don't want to, I don't want to have a big shipping bill back home, but I do have some things and some for me some things that I'm going to go look for that are not necessarily maybe in my wheelhouse or things that I ever really gone and hunted for before. So I'm excited. So do we want to, uh, Steve? Why don't you want to start off with Steve? What's one of the first things that you're going to go on a hunt for?
So this one, we were talking about thinking about like holy grails
Mm-hmm.
or books that may be out of our reach potentially, but maybe not. That just trigger something. And the one thing, like I was talking about, like was joking about stuff like, oh, some random issue of Elementals or whatever, like just filling those gaps. If I come across those, fine. But all those issues that I own of Elementals, I got for 25 cents when I was 11. So I'm like, yeah. But there is one character that triggers my nostalgia, uh, and is very hard to find certain back issues for. And it is Mike Baron and Steve Rude's Nexus.
Okay.
Sometimes you can find a ton of stuff, and it's not expensive, kind of cheap. Usually the later runs, the Dark Horse runs, like there's a lot that's out there. But for me, being able to get the first three black and white issues from Capital Comics, that they're not super expensive. They're not super expensive. I think you can get them, like I've seen listings on eBay for like $150, which for a comic that had a very very limited print run, for for a publisher that's no longer in existence, and it was just like the first three issue mini. If first three issue series, it took about a year and a half to write. It was all black and white. Um, it's still hard to find out in the wild. Like people have it, but it's more likely to end up on eBay or it's in somebody's like back stock because it's not something that people are clamoring for.
Right.
So to be
And
able
it's
to
also not
find it,
comic book size, it's
no, it's
magazine
magazine
size,
size.
and that's
Yeah.
problematic in its own way.
So they didn't go to, I think, the standard comic size until they started the color series. I think
I
I
think
can't
you're
remember
right.
if it,
I think maybe the first
or when they
few
went to
issues
Kamiko,
of
maybe, or first, yeah, to
yeah,
first.
they were never with Kamiko.
Yeah, they
Um,
went to first after
first,
Capital,
and
and then I think
then
that's
I think
where.
it wrapped up at Dark Horse.
Yeah, I mean, Dark
Yeah,
Horse was the
something like
last
that.
one
Yeah.
to start publishing stuff. They
Yeah.
they did a couple minis, and they had the Dark Horse Presents stories. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, Nexus is one of those comics that is just one of the, like I've read bits and pieces over the years. I've had a lot of like old first issues that I had. Those were the first ones I pulled out of a 4 for $1 box when I was 11 years old, and it just grabbed me. But throughout the years, it's been one of those books that just kind of like it just kind of goes on my back burner. When I see it, I usually pick up an issue if I don't have it. But for me to actually get those original issues, like that would be wild. But it is still hard for me to like
It's
spend out.
feasible though.
Yeah, it's realistic.
Yeah.
But am I going to pay $400 or $350 for the set or whatever? If I find them out in the wild, that's going to be one of those impulse buy situations. If I'm sitting there on eBay, I'm like, no, I'll just go.
Have you met Brian Newberry?
Yeah. If it's got an omnibus.
he'll help. He'll help you spend your money. He's
Oh,
very
I
good.
know. I know. He is a he's a pusher when it comes to that. So, but yeah, I mean that would be my holy grail. Like if I'm looking for that, I would go.
Okay.
Nope. Caleb, what about you? What's one of your
So I'll
background?
follow your lead on that. So I've got something on my list that fits in with that kind of continuity wise, and I don't know that I would call this a grail as much as, but it is something I very very much want. and that is the first 10 issues of Grimjack from First Comics. If I can find Grimjack, 1 through 10, just that first kind of tranche, I think that'd be a good start to getting the single issues of Grimjack. So that's I'm gonna look for a few of those in back issue bins and see what I can find.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And why Grimjack?
I love Grimjack. Like it is such a fun. Munden's Bar is incredible, but it's just such a fun series. It is absurdist. It is weird. It's got like to me, it's got kind of the same spiritual hallmarks and stuff. Like there's a Judge Dredd sensibility about it a little bit, but then it gets just weird. Like again, funny but absurdist, but just Looney Tunes kind of levels of just oddball, time shifting, reality warping stuff. That's about a pirate cowboy basically, and I like it's just fun. Like, so a friend of ours sent me like the Grimjack omnibus, like the paperback version of it, and I fell in love with it completely. And so, yeah, finding these issues is going to be on my list of things to go look for. I don't know if I will or not, and I have no idea how much they cost. So I'm just going to go in blind and see what I can find. They shouldn't be expensive.
Yeah, they shouldn't be expensive. And even some stuff that was expensive from the 80s has seemed to taken a down turn in cost. You know, Turtles, that'll never go down. I mean, just the sheer scarcity of that. But I think of Rocketeer. There was a point the early Rocketeer stories were cost prohibitive depending what was in your wallet, and I don't think that exists anymore. I think you if you wanted to complete a Rocketeer collection, it's doable on a sensible income.
Yeah.
But the 80s is weird though, because like these books that were quarter bin, 50-cent bin, dollar bin mainstays, they're getting getting to be a little harder to find.
Well,
People are encountering that right now with the earliest printings of Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
From Eagle Comics, that the cost, the value hasn't changed, but the availability has, and I think you're going to see that more. Whether it's like Gru or Star Slayer or these, like you said, Nexus. I think you're going to see that become a little bit harder. Where it was it was nothing to collect a run of American Flag or John Sable. It was nothing, and I don't think it's as easy now.
Well, that's how I have. Funny enough, like First Comics, for some reason, when I was a little comic book reader in Cumberland, Rhode Island, those were the books. The First Comics books were the ones that ended up in the $4 bin constantly.
Yeah.
So I was getting all these Sable. I was getting John Sable. I was getting Grimjack. I was getting Badger. And Nexus. Like, just I'd pick up like 12 issues of these for for my $3. But it's definitely one of those things where it's been a while since I've come across those.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have to start working on completing American Flag, John Sable, Shatter. Do you remember Shatter?
I don't.
That was the first comic that was illustrated by computer.
Oh.
Star Slayer I don't care about.
We find it and then we'll have like an AI discussion.
Yeah. Warped. I'm missing 2 issues of Warped.
Warped. Right.
Warp. Yeah. So.
Tell me which Sables that you're missing. I might have some that I can get you.
Yeah. And Caleb, how close are you on your Marvel Comics Presents?
I've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 issues.
Well, you got to let us know what those issues are.
Oh, yeah, I will. I've got them. I've got my notes made, so I'm looking for those. That was on my list.
Text those over to us because we will help you look. I have been because of this gentleman down here. If you are watching, that is Bill. I have been spending more time at the bins, not so much looking for myself, although it is fun when I come across something I'm like, hey, I can pick that up. But helping him look for things and helping, and knowing that I have a friend who's looking for something else, possibly Marvel Comics Presents, it gives me something that I can
Yeah,
hunt for.
because
It's
sometimes
fun.
you're with somebody and they're looking for something, and
Yeah,
it's good to have a second hand.
It
absolutely.
is. It is.
It's absolutely
Especially if you can spread out. So
yeah.
and they're going to be set up by usually alphabetical.
At least at the start.
Yeah, at least to some degree of organization. And so if I'm looking for Marvel Comics Presents, and I know that you're looking for Nexus, I'm going to be right there in that zone.
Yeah,
So and you can split it up that way.
bumping shoulders.
Yep.
But yeah, and Bill, we know about your list is legendary.
My list is not so much a want list, but an I don't have list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's some things like Lobo. Okay, if I don't leave this earth with a complete collection of Lobo, I'm okay. I've lived a good life. But if I see an issue of Lobo that I don't have in a 50-cent bin, I'm going to snatch it up.
Yeah.
Because I'm a DC guy and I'd love, I'd love to have full runs of DC stuff. Um, so there's a hierarchy. We can put it
Yeah.
that way. But I did send Steve. This is the one book I'm really on the lookout for, because I think things go up and then they dip a little bit, and I think we're in a good time for a dip right now. And last year there was a Superman promotional tie-in comic with the movie through Milkbone. Um, Steve, do you have the graphics
I
ready?
do. I'm pulling it up.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, so it's a promo book called A Friendship Unleashed about Superman's relationship with Krypto. Uh, there were two ways to obtain the book. You could get it through milkbone.com, and they also had a variant that was available as a giveaway at San Diego Comic-Con. So you can see the two different things. And at one point, this was going for $120, both versions. Now it's really come down, and so I'm looking for like a $20 copy. Um, but
Okay.
I really want to get this. Just get this, because that there's a modern Superman book that I don't have is driving me nuts. So I would really like to get this. But in terms of Grail, like some of my Grails are just so out there that they're just never gonna be realized. Um, but I do think that if it was within an affordable range, and how you define affordable is subjective. I would really love to have an issue of All Star Comics, um, with the Justice Society, one of the original 55 55 issues if it ran to issue 57. And I also would love an adventure comics that was cover featuring Ted Knight Starman.
hmm.
I really don't hunt Golden Age books apart from Blackhawk, because the prices are crazy. Um, but like I think that's stuff I would like that is somewhat realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of what I started doing last year. So I started taking an interest in getting older issues of heavy metal, 70s, 80s, if I could find them, that were reasonable, like in the $10 to $15
Yeah.
range. That to me is reasonable for a book that today goes for $10 to $15
Yeah.
new. So those were
And
fun. I found
to
some good
me,
ones.
collecting something like heavy metal makes a lot more sense, since so little of that is collected.
Yeah.
Right,
You know,
right.
and just so
Those.
many great artists, and even premier works by these artists, and the collections are either like restricted to European editions or just non-existent. So,
Right.
collecting something like heavy metal to me is like,
You can't go wrong.
that totally makes sense.
Yep.
If that's your
And it's fun to read. It's fun to see kind of what was subversive in like
Mhm.
1983, something that had a more European flair, but was, for an American audience that was interested in seeing that.
Mhm.
So you have a lot of, and you have a lot, like you said, contributing artists. There's, you even had Stephen King writing some stuff in
Yeah.
one issue, which it is, when you do find that, it is not cheap. Um, but there's still some great stories that you can find, um, and again, it's harder. You have to look for the right vendors. Not all vendors will cover them because they're magazine size. They're Again, harder to come by usually. Usually, what happens is somebody gets an entire set of them from somebody's collection, or they've been found stacked up in a box in a garage or a basement, and if the quality's if the quality's okay, then you'll see it on sale. Otherwise, look for a flea market for like uh,
Yeah.
roach-eaten covers and things. Is
Yeah.
what you tend to encounter. So it is kind of fun to find those in good condition and for a good price. So
Yeah.
that was fun last
Yeah.
year. So I'll do.
And there's also a lot of fun with those magazines because comic books, you're kind of used to the old ads. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you've seen them all.
Yeah.
Um, Running through the ads that were in the back of Heavy Metal or something else like Famous Monsters,
Yeah.
that's a totally different experience. And I love that. I love
Mm-hmm.
looking at those ads, especially because it was kind of schizophrenic who they were trying to appeal to.
Every,
Uh, so you'll have like that, and then you'll have like a cigarette ad with like a pretty lady, and then 2 pages next, it's like all like
Hey, they were
you
cowboys.
you could buy like C3PO masks, so
see-through view match. Cowboys, pretty ladies, they're all the same. Um, yeah. And since last year, since starting the other podcast, like I have found the joys in Fangoria, which again
Yeah.
I was never allowed to read as a kid. Like heavy metal, like these are things that I was never allowed to bring in the house. Yeah, and I had the cool sort of like metal friend who was like, yeah, my parents don't care what I read, and like would have the stacks of the heavy metals next to the Playboys, and whatever. Which I was like, ew, gross, boobies. Um, but now doing a lot of the research, and they no longer have it available for the public, but they did have the complete archive for Fangoria.com of all the old issues, and it was great reading through those and seeing those articles. But I did help with the Kickstarter. I did pledge with the Kickstarter, so I'm getting access to the full library once they have it fully digitized again, and of course the compendium, which I
yeah.
can't
what
get.
what what was the story there? Because something very similar happened with Starlog.
Yeah.
That they had their archive of almost most issues available, and then just
Well,
unavailable.
because they can monetize it. There was a
Yeah.
lot of, it's expensive to digitize all of that and to keep the interface running. And I think
Yeah.
with, taking the opportunity for the Kickstarter, that was their sort of like, okay, now we're going to take the step and put it behind a wall. So I'm not sure. I'm sure they're going to bring it back for general public, but it's going to be behind a paywall going forward, unless you were a Kickstarter. Uh, Unless you pledge for the Kickstarter, then you do get lifetime access, which is nice. Can't wait to have that back. But yeah, I mean, finding those kind of magazines and finding some really great, usually for not super a lot of money, which
Yeah.
is good. It's fun. It's fun to see what you come up with. I mean, you're usually not getting a complete run at one time. Like you're getting issues from 83, 87, 96,
But see,
whatever.
that's also what's fun about. I mean, that's what I like about Marvel Comics Presents, right? Like you can't, like you're not going to go out and find just a complete collection. It's like, yeah, I'll grab it. Like I like the hunt, and that's why, like Brian Newberry, same thing. He was like, oh, send me a list and I'll hunt wherever I go. And I was like, well, I mean, sure, but also I don't like need that. I part the like finding them myself and like adding like sure I'll let a friend help me out every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Comic book version of a reach around, so why not? But I like going and looking for those things too, and so I don't necessarily just want it given to me.
Right.
And I love that about because you also some of the same books that I pick up, which are like the Savage Sword that you were grabbing and stuff. I think
Hmm.
last time it's that same kind of concept, right? Like it's just finding weird ones, and do I have this? Do I not? Who's on the cover? Is it Joe Jusko? Like, where do we go with this? It's grabbing them in the wild, just bits and pieces as you can. And the extra benefit of that, to the point that you made earlier, you can actually sit down and read them, right? With that,
Hmm.
like I can read where I couldn't read through a whole like 50 issue pack of comics that I bought. That's a single run. I don't have time for that right now. But I can read two or three Conan comics. I can read two or three copies of, heavy metal or like Revolver magazine. Like talking about magazines to go hunt. I'm kind of in the weird space where I want to find like old music magazines,
Right.
just for the interviews and stuff like that. So, um, one of the things that I'm going to be hunting for, I'm going to break the mold a little bit, is going to be some action figures. I'm taking a page out of Bill's book and going toy hunting. So Super 7 and Heroic Figures came out with a line of these Conan, speaking of, action figures. I've got three of them. I've got the war paint versions, but I don't have the Pit Fighter, Conan, Thulsa Doom, or just the regular Subutai. So I'm hoping I will be able to find the other three to this set and complete my set on this while we're there. So that's one of the few action figures or non-paper things that I'm going to be hunting down to see if I can find one of those.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that
Cool.
they were doing that. That's really neat.
Yeah, they're cool.
So I have not been bitten by the toy bug, mostly because I have absolutely no place to put it, no place to display them.
Oh, come on. You're not
No,
letting
you've
me.
seen my office. It is now even worse than it was last year. I have so many
It's not
comics that
bad.
need to
It's
be
not that bad.
that need
It's not that
homes.
bad.
So many books
Not
that
that
need
bad.
homes.
Not that bad.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
You at least can hide. You can hide your stuff because you've got a bunker. I don't have a bunker. I have a.
Yeah, but
I have a fire
I wish
hydrant.
I didn't need a bunker. I would love all my stuff under one roof, under
Yeah.
one roof. Before I die, I want that. I want, you know, and just give me like 5 years, 5 years where I can just look at my collection in full.
Yeah.
I'm seeing you in a bathrobe with like a glass of port, just swishing it, staring out at all the short boxes and the Funko Pops all stacked in a certain way, and just going, yes, this is good.
You know, people used to do the glass blocks in rooms in the 80s. It's just going to be Funko Pops with like mortar around them and builds something on them.
It is now a building material. There's so
It's
much
so
of
Yeah,
them
funny.
now.
Like
look to wherever.
all I can concentrate on is like when I move my head, it's like one Migo set, another Migo set, one Migo set, another Migo set.
Now I'm thinking, Caleb. Now I'm thinking just load-bearing Funko Pops.
Yeah,
But
load bearing Funko cavern.
oh man,
Yeah.
to display
Well,
your Migos.
we really meandered a bit on
We
this
have.
one, even though we were focused on heroes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I will give it that. But I do think that we should probably talk about some new or newish or new to us comics before we sign off.
Oh,
Sure.
absolutely.
So, uh, Caleb and I both have Big Two books, but mine's a bit more current. So maybe I should take the lead then.
Sure.
It's up to you. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Dying. Okay, so
Please don't. At least not before Thursday.
so we talked about Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum on this show before, and I think I surprised people by saying I really didn't warm to it that much.
Surprise! You hurt my feelings.
Yeah, yeah, sure I did. Um, but the same team, writer W. Maxwell Prince, very well known for Ice Cream Man, and Martin Morazzo have reteamed on a new series that actually is, according to indications here, it's not Black Label. It's got the Next Level and the All In on it.
Hmm.
So it looks like this is part of regular continuity. And the book we're talking about is The Dead Man.
I
What were you saying, Caleb?
so I thought I was muted. I was saying to myself, I cannot wait to read this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I,
Well,
I definitely can't wait to pick this up. I
I am happy to say that I thought this was much, much, much more successful than Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum. To me, that one kind of felt like an assignment. This one really felt like a labor of love. So we have, again, the longtime dead man in the DC universe, Boston Brand, and the thing that really struck me was how quickly this book has tonal shifts. You are laughing out loud on one page, you turn the page, and there's something so tragic, and tears almost come to your eyes
mm,
with a backstory of one of the ghosts or something. I have to cough again. 1 second. Oh, I love that mute button. Um, and It was also a bit strange, but I did see a review that also corroborated this. Um, with when Mark Waid and Rivera relaunched Daredevil, and
Mm.
it was like an optimism about Daredevil that you hadn't seen in a long, long time. There's a little bit of that flavor here too. Um, and I think some of it is because very often Deadman is not the lead character in many of his core stories. That they use him as a device. Um, and his publication history, it's been very spotty with him as lead character. This is centralized on Boston. They're not using Boston to tell another story. They're using Boston to tell Boston's story, which I think is really a nice change of pace. Like I said, it's very bizarre world building, um, and it's very cool that one of the aspects of the world building that they provide is a sort of bureaucracy to souls and spirituality, um, which is, you know, like if you put that phrase together with Mark Russell, I'd be like, oh, here we go, you know. But I don't think it's too huge a puddle jump with Prince, with what he does well. Um, so let me just give like some sort of background, so I'm not just speaking out of my mouth, saying words and say what happens. It starts off um, where we learn that purgatory is Earth. Makes a lot of sense. And one place that Boston brand, the Dead Man, very often is stationed is at hospitals. To either give comfort to people who are passing by inhabiting someone else's body that, knows things about them that they otherwise wouldn't know. Um, a, a series of devices. One beautiful moment here about a teenager who's going into sepsis, dies briefly, but it turns out it's not her time and she is going to go to prom. This is, oh my God, the dialogue here is just so sickly sweet and still works. And there is an antagonist. Again, it's the first issue, so there's a bit of setup. There is an antagonist, and the reveal doesn't really come to the end. And I'm glad they didn't do that because you have a lot more of build up for Boston's background. And this was the third page in the story where you basically get what happened to Boston. He was an acrobat, he gets shot and becomes this emissary for souls. Um, and everything you need to know about Boston Brand's history is in that little bit there, the written bit there, um, including his occasional participation with the Justice League of America. It's nice to see that they threw in a lot of information there. So there are two places that Boston normally inhabits. One is a suburban town called Robertsville, and as they describe this, population about 400, 350 humans, and nearly half a hundred ghosts, specters, bestial energy entities, and other general paranormal deviations. And with the implication being that wherever you hit with suburbia, there is an afterlife component. Um, and we meet some of his denizens. We meet some of the denizens there, but there is a surprise in that there is a biker um, who goes by the name of Fly Eater, and it's kind of disgusting that that's a very accurate name, who meets his end, but instead of going to his hereafter to his reward, his soul gets his head eaten by a demon. Um, so again, this is, like I was saying, these abrupt shifts in tone where you're laughing, then kind of, grossed out. Um, and just Prince and the artist just they handle this so well. So there's weird stuff going on. There's just a tonal shift that Boston picks up on. So he goes to Nanda Parbat, which is the spiritual center of the DC's Earth, and talks to you know the um, the deity that he worships, Lord Kushna, um, who is thrilled because Boston brings her a set of new crayons. Um, so just apart from having this dominion over souls, she also really loves coloring books. So it's these kind of touches that are just really wonderful. But like for everything that I had reservations about Superman, Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, that I did think was very deliberate and very calculated. There's an organic feel to the quirkiness here that I will take over that work any day. And it's the same team, so I'm glad my prejudice from that didn't follow into this. And I think it's scheduled for 6 or 7 issues. I think it might be seven. It might be a weird number right now. Um, again, they kind of don't solicit these days with one of six as prevalent anymore till you get like issues 4 or 5. Um, but I wholeheartedly recommend this to the two of you. I know you're both going to dig this. The Dead Man #1.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be picking up from Tony as soon as I see him. At least at his store. I'll be seeing him this week at HeroesCon. They're in the same booth that they always are.
Actually, if y'all see a copy of that at the con, let me know where it's at. I'll grab it there. Because I don't know that I ordered it, but because usually I read off of the DC app.
Yeah.
But considering I have to read through a spider web of cracky cracks in my screen now, I'm going to not do that. So,
If we do see it in the new issues, this is what we got to tell each other. Now you guys know. If you see that Superman crypto book, just hustle his ass to the guy, pay him, and give it to me. So that's why we talk about this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
All right. Yeah, go ahead, Caleb.
Yeah, 'cause I was gonna say I'm the other big two group in the grouping. So and actually I have got a Marvel book, and it's been a little bit since we've really gone, I think, on a deep dive of a Marvel book. At least a couple of weeks, hasn't it?
It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think even when we did do that, it was like me talking Silver Surfer and you talking Submariner. So
Yeah.
Submariner, classic Submariner, and I think before that, the last Marvel book was Scarlet Vision and Scarlet Witch. I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And which I've also got to stat. I've gotten caught up on my girl Scarlet Witch and seen what's going on there too. So Marvel is not. I mean, all of that to say is there's not a lot of Marvel that's really been pulling our attraction and attention, or really something I've just felt like I need to do a deep dive in.
Right.
But there are some titles that are absolutely worth reading. There's some absolute bangers that are getting written over there too. So you gotta not a lot of lukewarm, but there are some fire there. And so one book I picked up merely on just kind of my history with the character and the love of the character, more so than the gimmick that they're doing with it. But there's a new volume of Alias, Jessica Jones, that is coming out now, and is being solicited as at least the one I'm getting is the Marvel Red Band edition, which got the very, interesting moniker explicit content. I'm not quite sure what the explicit content at least cutoff for Marvel is, but in this book it just seems to be some bodies that had been brutally murdered, which again, so that's explicit, but like you don't actually see the murder. And like I've read Wolverine comics and Punisher comics and just other random comics where they just drop bodies, Deadpool comics that have way more gratuitous violence than is in this book. So I just thought that was so. If you're looking for like a hyper violent adventure and you're attracted to the red band explicit comment or content thing, that this isn't going to give you that. So I guess that's a critique or a criticism of it. But it's more so with the way it's solicited and packaged than it is the actual story. Because the actual story is good. The actual story is super fun. So this takes place in modern times, and Bill said that he had the newer of the books, and that is true, but not by much. The at least the copyright date on this book is from May of this year. And so, what's going on in this world in modern times? Well, Jessica Jones has had to give up her private investigation practice, partially because of who her husband is and the position and title that he now holds. Luke Cage is now mayor of New York, has followed in the shadow of the kingpin as he ran that city. And so, as part of what Luke Cage is doing, he is trying to, I guess, regain some public trust and the public's trust in city functions like policing and things like that, and also staying good with the police fighters union. So he can't have his vigilante wife out running amok and crime fighting without the licensing, so to speak. It's running a city. Somebody's got to have a permit somewhere. And so she's had to give up her private practice. But she's still paying rent on her office, right? And so she goes by, after avoiding it for a long time. She just didn't want to go back. She decides that she is going to pop by the office and see what's going on there. And as she does, she notices some of her neighbor's mail that's stacked up and that hadn't been picked up in a while. And so it's just kind of weird, and so she's trying to fill it out. And of course, a reporter shows up and starts snapping pictures of her, trying to get back in her office and how she's going and doing the thing. She's like, I'm not getting back into the game. I just need to pick up my stuff. But why are you here? And the paparazzis are taking pictures. And then out of the corner of her eye, she sees a little mouse or a rat scurry by. Except this isn't just it's the New York rat, which is intimidating enough. But this rat is covered with like ichor and nastiness, and it goes inside the apartment where the mail was stacked up. So the little hairs on the back of the neck are standing up, and Jessica's like, okay, something's going on here, not sure what's happening, this feels like a bad thing. And she's Jessica Jones, so she's not going to let the dude with the camera, or just the fact that she's not supposed to be investigating things, stop her from kicking down the door and going and checking on her neighbors and friends, people that she has got a relationship with. Where unfortunately she does in fact find them brutally murdered. A murder most foul has occurred. Something as terrible has happened. And of course the cameraman is sure to snap a picture of Jessica Jones investigating homicide illegally to go in the newspapers. Which then does cause a ruckus and a stink and a major media event and a headache for her mayor husband of New York as he's trying to keep things flowing in the right direction and smoothing things over. And so, they have to have kind of this, married person fight, of course, predicated on this as the tension built up for the fact that this is not a regular couple fighting. This is Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, and these people have saved the world countless times. And, one of them can fly and is a pretty badass fighter. The other one has, like, unshatterable skin and a sweet tagline. So, imagine those two fighting over not being vigilantes, and that's what you're getting. But a large part of it is, at least on Luke's part, is his predecessor was the Kingpin, right? And so he really needs to get the average person back on board with him, especially being mayor. And so this causes a bit of a ruckus, and there's issues going on. And it all gets complicated one day when Jessica doesn't do what she swears she's going to do, and she decides that she's going to go and investigate this crime. And starts digging into it. Well, right about the same time, Typhoid Mary walks through the door. Now, Typhoid Mary, if you haven't been keeping up with Marvel continuity, is currently married to the Kingpin, former mayor of New York, right? The guy that Luke Cage had to beat out for the office, criminal enterprise, all that fun stuff. And Typhoid Mary's batshit crazy. So not exactly who Jessica Jones wants to see or interact with there for a number of reasons, but through the magic of comics and plot, she gets roped into kind of having to. And she knows she's going to do it. Typhoid Mary convinces her, and they're going to partner up to go on this adventure. Or at least do this investigation to figure out what's going on here, who's done the double homicide, and what political machinations are actually in play behind this that are really starting to seem like it's a bigger picture. And then the book does something really cool in the first issue. It jumps a few weeks ahead, and Jessica Jones is on trial, getting grilled by a prosecutor. So we don't know what happens in between them. I think the first 3 issues are out right now, or at least those are the ones that I have. Again, they come polybagged. This is a really fun story. I really like the creative team on this and the work they're doing. Sam Humphries does a really good job capturing these characters' voices, and then kind of keeping it in the same, really the same narrative tone as what you would expect from a Jessica Jones book, or at least an Alias book. You know, it's not Bendis, but it's Bendis-y, if that makes sense. He's got a good way of like channeling that without being hyper wordy either. So some of the things that if you're a you're a long reader of Bendis, there are Bendisisms. He kind of works those in but avoids them at the same time. So you like catch glimpses of it, but he doesn't heavy hand on it like the way that Bendis can.
So you're saying that it would be Bendish.
It's Bendis. I knew you were going to do it. I didn't know that I was going to be the victim of you doing it, but I knew you were going to do it.
Yes.
Shout out to Geraldo Borges, who does the art, and Arthur Hesley, who's the who's the colorist. Corey Pettit does the letters. I really, really, really like Geraldo Borges' art. It's very kind of heavy inks. Is not Frank Miller, but this person really likes the Frank Miller-esque, like heavy inks and shadows and stuff like that, and very not photorealistic. Very leans into the comic book aspect of it all. Is not afraid of some heavy inking. Really, really digging what they're laying down on this page. So go check this out. Fun story. I do in fact recommend it. It's a bright spot in an otherwise murky sea of Marvel right now. So the distinguished competition is definitely running away with the show. But this is something that you should read. Good stuff.
Yeah. I do apologize, Caleb. I saw that David Mack cover and I thought, oh, he's reading an archived Alias, you know.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, really. So I do apologize. Yours still is a bit old. Yours was like 3 months older than mine, but not as old as I thought it was. And I have to say, this is something about Marvel and their promotion. I didn't even know about this book. I didn't even know about this. If it was solicited, there was nothing in the solicited that stood out. I think it's interesting that they did reveal Luke Cage as one of the new Avengers team post Armageddon.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was questioned, does this mean he's no longer the mayor? And I don't think it was Chip Zdarsky. Maybe the editor said nobody said that. So that would be a kind of cool development. But yeah, I didn't even know about this. Did not even know about this.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad to see that David Mack is still doing the covers for it, because I mean he was instrumental in, I think, giving the original Marvel Knights book back in the day. I'm not sure how old that is now. Was it maybe 20 years ago when it came out?
I was just saying, maybe more than that.
Maybe more.
Yeah, maybe even more.
It was a long time. Yeah. But that just gave that book such a distinctive look, and set it apart from the other Marvel Knights books, I think, because David Mack just made it feel a little bit special when you were picking up the issue, and then once you started reading Bendis' writing inside, you were like, "Yeah, this book is something special."
Yeah,
and I absolutely loved. I blasted through the entire first, I think, 2 volumes of that, and it was just so good. But
yeah, it's number one. I hate. I both am glad that that the comic industry has shifted now, and there's more than one. There's more than one company out there that can get books to stores, and it's not all kind of monolithic. But the other side of that is it's been making it very hard to see what all who's putting out what when, and staying on top of solicitations, at least on my end. Especially some of the like the indier books, but I mean, I really don't look at Marvel solicits anymore. It's like it's not all in the previews catalog, so I got to look at 4 or 5 spots. That seems like a lot of work, so I just haven't been doing it. But they are not getting the word out. I don't know what's happening there. It's not working.
It's almost like they kind of gave up.
Yeah, a little bit.
Doesn't have that feel of we'll just wait to the new thing. With this new editor, this new publisher, I guess, that's coming over from the TV side, that's going to inject something new in there. Yeah. And the guy's gotten slammed, and most people say, "Hold on, this guy's a huge comic book guy." So, Brad, whatever his name is, but
I
yeah,
I feel like they need somebody else in the editor in chief seat, in a bad way,
Hmm.
in a really bad way. And I was a defender when they put that guy in there. I said, give him a chance.
CB,
Yeah,
yeah,
Cebulski. Yeah, so give him a chance, let him see what he can do and stuff like that. He's manga is on fire in the world globally right now. So I thought, see what he's going to bring over that because he had connections to Japan and the manga publishing industry as well, but just has not panned out well for the line. And I think that they definitely need somebody else in that position.
Yeah.
just in terms of connections, Steve, CB used to work with Edwin
Really
at Central Park Media.
interesting.
Yep. Yep.
Hmm. I wonder if Edwin has some stories now.
No,
No.
liked him a lot.
Yeah. I mean, he seems like a fine guy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just
Yeah.
you know.
But there's no fire there.
Mm.
There's you have these blips like Daredevil #1, but just we're not the only podcast talking about this, and other people are
We don't have to be.
dedicating
Yeah. I mean, we
Yeah.
could be negative all day
dedicating their
about it.
entire shows to this. It seems so.
Yeah.
So let's keep going.
Yeah.
Steve, you have a book?
I do. I have an indie book, and it's from a publisher that I know has been brought up a couple times on this podcast, and when they originally came out, the fact that they were just soliciting directly to certain stores and it was not available through Diamond, it was not available online. A lot of people said, hey, that's kind of a bad idea if you're trying to get books in readers' hands. And in a lot of cases, yeah, it did. It did create some problems because you had people who wanted to read it but didn't live anywhere near a store that was carrying it. And of course, stores were more or less forbidden from selling back issues past a certain date. So there was a lot of like, something was published, something was distributed, and then it would just disappear. You wouldn't be able to get those issues again. They wouldn't be reprinted. It was tough. So Bad Idea Books went on hiatus for a little bit, and when they came back, they scrapped that whole idea, and we're now going to be soliciting through stores, and so you could go through Diamond, but also I think now it's Lunar that distributes them. But you can buy their books. You can find them. You can order them. It's easy, and they have been putting out some really great titles. So Cul-de-sac was a huge breakout from the end of last year to the beginning of this year. There have been a couple other ones that I've read and really enjoyed. But the one I'm going to be talking about is The Hab. And this one it definitely aligns with my interests around horror comics. And this is definitely a horror comic. It kind of fits in the realm of uh, apocalypse meets zombies meets environmental concerns meets ghosts. So it's kind of all in together. It's a very, I would think it's kind of a unique story in that an extremely rich ultra billionaire has built this habitat, the Hab, for his family as well as his critical staff to basically survive the end of the world. And through the issues, it is I think it's going to be a 5-issue series altogether. The first 2 are out already. The third issue, I believe, is coming out this coming week if it hasn't already come out yet for this month. We're spoon fed, I'm not spoon fed, but we're drip fed a couple pages here and there about what was happening leading up to the collapse of human civilization. There's the idea of colony collapse for humans, kind of like what was going on for bees, political unrest, religious revival, creating new crusades all over the place, environmental collapse, just all sorts of things. And so this ultra billionaire Tuttle, or Tut as he's known to his family and friends, builds this bunker over a aquifer that is a non-glacier, and they keep making that point. It's a non-glacier underwater lake that doesn't seem to have any rivers outbound. It's not, nothing's feeding into it. It's just this pristine, clean water source that only they have access to. And so they built this giant, this giant habitat above it where they're going to wait out the apocalypse, essentially. Um, Very early on in issue number one, and again, I've read issue number two as well, things are not good. Uh, and it's not because the people there are starting to turn on each other, it's that there's something in the water. And the water itself has infected every single person because that is their water source. And it's giving them essentially group hallucinations. They're seeing people, they're seeing, you know, family members, friends, lovers, victims of their actions that are now back haunting them. But they're not normal ghosts in the fact that, and they're not hallucinations because everybody else can see them too. So everybody is essentially walking around this habitat with the ghosts of their past, someone that they regret, and this creates a situation that is untenable very quickly, um, especially because all the ghosts, if that's what they are all telling their people, you can have the cosmos, you can have everything, but you must die. And slowly driving everybody mad. Actually, not even slowly, very quickly driving everybody mad. So Tuttle, his daughter Melanie, his wife Mina, their head of security Tom, Dr. Faruqi, as well as Anne, who's the project manager, are essentially the only ones that haven't murdered themselves or each other trying to free their souls to whatever this presence that is, is using these vessels, these memories, these ghosts to tell them to die. It's very bloody, very gory, very quickly. And I don't have any sample pages to show those who are watching online, but you can find them. That things that Bad Idea has put out there, so you can actually see some sample pages for the first three issues. It is wild, and it goes from 0 to 60 extremely quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have to say this is just grabbed my attention. I picked it up on a whim because I was like, hey, I haven't seen anything from Bad Idea for a few months that I wanted to read, and this looks good. I got 2 issues of it. Okay, and yeah, from page one, absolutely gripped with it. Now it's written by Joshua Dysart with art by David Lapham. You've got Bill Sienkiewicz, I believe, is doing some of the artwork as well, and some cover work. Um, yeah, he's also doing some of the interior arts. Jacob Phillips is also contributing to the interior art. You've got Bill Crabtree, Jacob Phillips, and Matt Hollingsworth on color. Simon Bolin on letters, and Rico Renzi did the design for this. Um, I This is a great group. They've done an incredible work on this book, and it's interesting because it's also newsprint. It's color, but it is newsprint paper, so that kind of gives me a weird flashback to like the 80s and 90s. So it is interesting. I like the format. It's a very thick book, so you get your money's worth out of these issues. But the story here is so gripping, and I love this kind of stuff because it's horror with a purpose. Just really cool. So I recommend it for you guys. I know not everybody's super into the publisher, but I think this creative team definitely deserves a look. And this book is so far fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I got.
I like when my friends like comics.
It's fun. It's fun to read cool horror comics.
Well, and by all accounts, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Everybody I've spoken to, like Brian Newberry, there are people who the actual books and stories that are coming out are fantastic. And there's even companies that are kind of predecessors to Bad Idea. Like, what was the company called that they put out the book Sarah? It was like Garth Ennis that wrote it, TKO or whatever it was, and they
Yeah.
only like you can only order the box set through their website or something like that. They had some odd way of doing business, which they're not around anymore, the best I can tell. Um, you know, my issue is never with the quality of what I've seen come out, because I've read one or two stories there. It's that every time I listen to the publishers talk, I just get annoyed by the dumb shit they say, and I don't want to give them money.
Yeah.
That is the full, like, and okay, for what, they don't know who I am and have no reason to care, but it's just like, your marketing campaign is fucking annoying. I'm not giving
Yeah.
you my money.
Yeah, forced
That's the full
scarcity
stop.
doesn't give anybody any good feelings.
No.
If you're a speculator, well, good on you. Nobody's going to want these books if they know that they absolutely can't get them, and so then why should they bother? And really, the point of a publisher is to get these books into people's hands. You know, to support these writers and artists to get their creation in the hands of the readers. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And so if a publisher is like, "Oh yeah, well we'll do that, but you have to jump through all these crazy hoops, and we're going to make it really hard to get," it's like, well, why? And if I were one of these creative teams, I would at least the way it used to be. If I were one of these creative teams, I'd be really kind of pissed off, unless they were paying really well. Maybe they would.
I think I mean, they know what they're getting into by this point. You can't sign up for Bad Idea and not know what their shtick is. So,
Yeah.
and we don't know what those contracts. There could be something there. I have no clue, 'cause I don't know how the hell this company makes money, but apparently they are, because they're still around. Like,
Well, and the fact that they're making the comics are much easier to get now. So you can order, you can pre-order, you know what's coming out, you know. But a lot of stores, I think, with the bad will that they had for the first go around, a lot of stores don't necessarily carry everything or want to carry them. So,
But
you know,
also, there's been a seismic shift in that
Mhm.
you see many more stores just carrying 7 or 8 publishers now
yeah,
and not touching indies, where previously they would take chances.
Well,
And some of that, I think, was because of Diamond centralized ordering.
yeah,
There's other reasons beyond that. Um,
returnability, Diamond helped. Yeah, Diamond was a good
and
again.
also, also to
You know,
some degree, competition in that niche market. Things like distillery. Um,
yeah, that's a good point.
to
yeah,
me, distillery was Bad Idea done better.
yeah,
Um, like, I don't think anything that was published by Bad Idea would have been. Um, it wouldn't have been unseemly to see the uh, distillery trade dress on it. They
Yeah.
seem to operate along the same lines. But there's a lot of reasons. There isn't one, automatic reason why indies aren't being carried by certain stores
right.
as,
So,
as
but support.
prevalently as they were.
If you can, as a reader, try looking for them. Like, check out creators that you are following or creators that you like who work for the big, two, three, Dark Horse, whatever. A lot of them do have indie books beyond those publishers that they're supporting through small labels or they're producing for smaller imprints. So check those out. Work with follow those creators on their socials. People like to self promote sometimes, but sometimes that's the easiest way to get information back out that you've got something, and you've got something new coming out, and it's harder to get. So, you know,
Yeah.
talk to your local store, follow your creators. See what's coming up.
With that being
Just
said,
yeah, go ahead, Clay.
I was going to say, with that being said, before we branch too far off, I would also still be a bad friend if I didn't bring up the fact that David Lapham is very prolific right now in producing stuff, but he also owes a whole lot of people a whole lot of money for that he took for things, including very good friends of mine. That he has effectively stole money from, and so until he does right by that, I'm not going to buy another goddamn thing with his name on it. So,
Mm,
you know,
See, I'm different. I just don't care. I just don't care. But I'm glad Steve likes the book.
yeah,
Um,
I like a book. I have read it.
all right. I do apologize again for people who have been watching the thing because I'm just coughing out loud with the mute button on, and it cannot be pretty. So we're going to start wrapping this episode up, and when we wrap an episode of the Comic Book Bears up, we have 2 final destinations. The first is where we show off our Geek Gets, things we may have gotten in the past few days, let's put it that way. We used to be able to say fortnight, but we've had some disruption in the schedule since our last episode that are somewhat genre-oriented. Steve, did you get anything
I don't
that
think
would
I showed this the
qualify
last.
as a Geek Get?
Yeah, I don't think I showed this the last time, but I did get before it's. I think it's out already. It's already gone. But I did stop by the Mickey D's and I got one of their Stranger Things sort of treasure boxes that comes with a little toy inside. Um, this one, if I can open it, there we go. Comes with a little demo dog. But then also they put out where is it? An activity book, which I haven't opened. So, Bill, this might be yours if you want it. Um, but
I do
it's
have one, and I do have a fin. Um,
oh,
so
but yeah. Well, if anybody wants to,
but McDonald's is getting a backseat because all Steve and I are going to be eating is KFC.
KFC
Um,
and wait, there's somebody else too.
yeah, but
KFC and
that's down the road.
oh yeah, that's right. That's
Spider-Man.
not
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's not yet.
yeah
But
KFC. The reason why, and I never eat KFC, but the reason why they've got the Supergirl promotion.
and it looks good. I mean, it
It
looks like
looks
a good
good.
promotion too. Yeah.
So I guess fried chicken's in my future. Mm. I
But you have.
prefer living here in Winston Salem. I definitely prefer mountain fried chicken to KFC,
Oh
but
yeah. I mean, that's
they don't.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bill knows he's eating there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But you know.
But yeah, KFC has the toys.
But there's going to be a lot of KFC in the next few minutes. How about you, Caleb? Do you have any Geek Gets?
I don't this week. I've been being a very good boy in the lead up to going to Charlotte, so I can spend a little extra money there. But also, just because I don't, just a reminder that the Cubist Flamingo believes in you and loves you dearly.
Thank you,
Um,
Cubus Flamingo.
so,
Thank you.
um,
Okay, in terms of my Geek Gets, I'll go through them very quickly. I have some new vinyl I want to talk about. Uh, our friend Tito uh, went over to New York and Philadelphia to see the Canadian band Triumph, which we did reference in the last episode with Steve Bryant. And I joined him, and one of the things I picked up was an exclusive album to the tour. This is Triumph 50th anniversary authorized bootleg series, um, and it contains 8 live tracks, mostly from old King Biscuit Flower Hour shows. So it's a nice tour memento. Over then, and this was still cheaper than a T-shirt, so I got that. I've recently become friends with somebody who's involved with Cool and the Gang's management. So he sent me a vinyl copy of their greatest hits that came out a while ago. Now, 80s kid like me, like I never would say, oh, ooh, a new Cool and the Gang album is out. But at the same token, for the songs here that are like from '79 on, um, they're like old friends. You know every word if you were around my age. So I'm
Hmm.
looking forward to putting this on the record player and reliving some stuff. But the geek get I really want to talk about is something I'm actually going to recommend to the two of you because I was shocked at how comprehensive and how well put together this book was. Uh, in my exploits toy collecting, I've been going to Ross locations to try to find this goddamn superpowers Fortress of Solitude playset that has a Gary action figure in it of the superpowers line. I haven't had any luck yet. Steve, we may be stopping at a Ross while I'm with you.
The cross dress for less. Yep.
Yeah. But while I was in there, I picked up this book, DC Greatest Events Stories That Shook the Multiverse. And it is a history of all of the major crossovers, all of the major events. And I have to say, if I was somebody that was like just getting into DC Comics, oh my God, this is perfect. This is perfect. It's really well informed write ups. So like here, Batman Night of the Owls, they consider that a major event. You have a have a write up about the event itself. It identifies the key creators. You
Hmm.
have key issues here. For a book that was just like a coffee table thing,
mhm.
I gotta say, this is really, really good. It's published by DK, which is part of Random House, which, given the current publishing that they have a DC book, is kind of funny. Um, but as a primer to the DC universe, especially for people who may be scared off by um, the notion of a multiverse, and also because um, it is a complicated continuity in a sense. No
Mhm.
matter how they try to distill it. This does an excellent job of giving the overall history. Uh, 7.99 down from like a 25 ish SRP. I wholeheartedly recommend this.
Hmm.
Like this, we mentioned tomorrow's earlier. This is like tomorrow's level research.
Wow.
But at the same token, and it's a beautiful package. It's a beautiful paper quality, beautiful colors, um, hardcover. This was a wonderful surprise. And again, it's just something that I think, many comic collectors would. do- It's not even going to be on their radar because it's not published by one of the companies. So DC's greatest events, stories that shook the multiverse. I found it at Ross for dirt cheap, and I wholeheartedly recommend this.
Nice.
Cool. That's like an Ollie's find.
If you've got good ollies, I don't have the good
Yeah,
ollies.
my Ollie sucks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Charlotte has some good Ollies.
Charlotte has some good Ollies. We
Winston-Salem
don't
Ollies is all right.
we haven't had a refresh of the graphic novel section in
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably a year and a half.
No.
Yeah.
Still a whole bunch of new 52 Catwoman at mine.
Yep. Yep. Or the Fables art book.
Yeah.
But we have
Wow.
those Amish sex romance books. The Amish sex romance books.
Oh.
We have plenty of those at our Ollies.
Hot and
Good.
steamy ankle viewing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just churning butter for 15 pages.
All right. Uh, while my voice is still barely hanging in there, we're going to go over to our last segment, which is something we call the Woofs of the Week. In the bear community, if you find a fella attractive, you woof at him. And we do something very similar here where we woof at something, which may be comic book or comic book related, may also be a film or a TV program, or possibly a charitable initiative, anything under the sun that we think you, fair listener or viewer, may be interested in sampling. Well, start as I always do with Steve. Steve, what is your woof of the week?
My woof of the week is to my husband. Again, for getting me stickers for the Bear Cave of Terror. So basically, getting us stickers for the Bear Cave of Terror, and stamping, the contact options, including comic book bears, and this may appear backwards, but comic book bears for YouTube, and then the Bear Cave of Terror, Blue Sky, and Instagram. He found a really great supplier, put together this image, and now I have a lot of stickers, which I will have for this weekend. So I'll be leaving them everywhere. So, so thank you, Jason. I love you.
So,
Audio. Okay, over to
you
Caleb. Caleb, what is your woof of the week?
all right. Before I say what my wolf of the week is, Bill, I don't want to cut yours. I don't want to get on yours just in case. You didn't go to the movies for your wolf of the week this week, did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay, cool. So I will do that one then. I had a backup just in case. But my wolf of the week goes out to a movie. I went to the theater and saw just the deep and shining and human and heartfelt and emotive television movie phenomenon based off of a cartoon on television that was based off of a toy, He-Man, Masters of the Universe. Um, You've seen the trailers. You know what this movie is. I loved it. I thought it was delightful. It did not take itself seriously. It was goofy when it needed to be. The plot was fun. It understands what it is, and it plays up all the elements, and it's a little bit self-deprecating in really funny ways. I thought it was great. It is Prince Adam. His family's attacked at Grayskull when Skeletor comes in and takes over. He goes to live on our Earth for a while and is raised there around people that he doesn't know, separated from his world, and everybody thinks he's crazy. Turns out he's not. He's fucking He-Man. He has to find a magic sword and go on adventures, and there's lots of people, and there's a guy named Ram Man and Fisto, and there's a sex joke about that, and it's amazing. So
There's
go
so
to
many
the
hidden
theater.
jokes.
Look, this is just big dumb fun movie, right? Like that's all you need to know going in. Don't take it seriously. I think you'll really enjoy it. I thought it was a great time. So go see Masters of the Universe.
Stay through the credits.
All three after credit scenes. There's three
Yep.
thrice.
Yep.
Trace.
Big campy fun.
Yep.
Okay, for my wolf of the week, Steve, I'm really gonna have to rely upon the graphic that I sent you because I left it in the other room there. My wolf of the week is The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends, the complete series. The streaming and TV broadcast of this is a little spotty right now. Sorry about that. It's a little spotty right now, but the home video version on DVD is readily available through Amazon and some other outlets. Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle ran from 1959 into 65, 66 or so, 135 episodes. I watched all of them very slowly, got through this. Gotta say though, calling it 135 episodes also means it's 685 segments, um, with so many other features on the show, like Mr. Peabody and Sherman and Dudley Jew Wright and Fractured Fairy Tales and Aesop and Son. Um, but I have to say, uh, the writing on this is top notch. Some of the best voice acting you ever heard. June Foray, Bill Scott, Hans Conried, Dawes Butler, William Conrad as the narrator. Just a sharp, sharp series. And it really holds up. And that's my wolf of the week.
Cool.
Also, your eyes did not deceive you. Bill is one of the three humans alive who bought the Electra DVD.
I bought it twice.
Oh.
So okay, Bill's 66% of.
I bought the Electra, and then I bought Electra, the director's cut.
Oh,
Is it just an hour and a half of nothing?
No, it has a scene with Daredevil.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, I think I've seen that clip. I think
yeah,
I've seen that clip.
yeah. Yeah, there's differences. The for a longer film, it also kind of moves faster. It's weird, but
Hmm.
whatever. All right. I don't want to end the show on a down note, but I do think we have to pay tribute to somebody. Last week, Will Lindis of the Movie Bears podcast sadly lost his battle with pancreatic cancer. I really feel privileged to have able to finally be able to have met him in person earlier this year. Um, and he's a past guest on the show many times, and um, I'm just gonna miss the hell out of him. And just in terms of genre podcasts and bear podcasts and all that shit, it's just it sucks, man. It just sucks. And all our best to his husband Scott and to Jim and Brad. And I just it just saddens me that there's so many movies Will is not going to get to see. I mean that's the thing. I mean, he may be watching them before us, but it just sucks all around. And we've talked about this. The number of guests we've had on the show that have passed away since we started is kind of staggering.
Yeah.
And I don't want any more anytime soon. I really don't. And just wanted to put that out there. If you want to pay tribute to him, listen to, the hundreds and hundreds of episodes of the Movie Bears, of his appearances on our show. And I just cancer sucks, and it's just awful when there's people who don't deserve to thrive and continue, and somebody who fought so hard for every day, and through his last ones. It just sucks all around.
Yeah.
We miss him.
And another way also to read a lot. He wrote a lot. So if you also want to see some of his thoughts on other movies that maybe they didn't cover at comic book on the Movie Bears podcast, if you look up under Letterboxd the Movie Bear, you can find a lot of.
I don't know when the hell he had the time.
I don't know either,
it's-
but he was diligent. He was diligent. So yeah, there's a lot of fantastic stuff there, a lot of fantastic opinions and thoughts. So you can really, you'll continue to be able to read what he thought and listen to him over the years, and just find some new movies that he absolutely loved, and hopefully you'll love them too.
And he loved comic books too.
Comics.
He loved comic books too.
Yeah.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah.
All right. But we'll be able to toast him in person.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to find a way to make this upbeat.
In 3 days.
In 3 days. So, gentlemen, I'm going to go to bed right now, so I'm in healthier space when I see you guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. Again, we are the Comic Book Bears podcast. You can find us on most social media as Comic Book Bears. You can find us on Facebook as Comic Book Bears Podcast. If you want to listen to us, please do so by downloading us or streaming us through Apple Podcasts, through Spotify, and many of the other podcasting platforms. If you want to write to us, please do so by sending an email to comicbookbears@gmail.com. If you joined us through one of our live streams, whether it be Facebook or Twitch or whatever, thank you for joining us tonight. If you're watching us later on our YouTube channel, please like and subscribe. We'll be back in sort of 2 weeks. We'll figure it out, but I imagine we'll be dropping some content from the show. We haven't really talked about that, but we'll do something,
Yeah.
Nothing.
We'll make some videos.
We'll do something.
Check out our OnlyFans. No. Collabs.
Yeah, I hope that word disappears.
Collabs.
Collabs, yeah. I
Collabs.
don't like that.
Yeah.
All right, until next time, I'm Billy Z.
I'm Steve Morey.
I'm Caleb Alexander McKenzie.
If you're listening to the audio version, you're going to hear a woof and an explosion. We'll be back real soon. Take care, everyone.
Bye.